This is 1,500 points of Space Marines organized into a battalion detachment. It is led by a Space Marine captain. He has the armor Indominus, and his warlord trait is the Imperium Sword. He has a jump pack and dual lightning claws. He's assisted by Primaris Lieutenant there on his left, your right. Troop choices starts out with 10 scouts, one armed with a heavy bolter. The rest have camo cloaks and sniper rifles. 2 squads of Primaris Marines, 10 each. They are standard Primaris Marines, nothing special about them. In the elites, we have 1 unit of Vanguard veterans with jump packs. The sergeant has lightning claws, as do 2 other members, and there in the right there you see 1 storm shield in the squad. Heavy support, we have 5 Primaris Hellblasters with these standard guns. We have 1 Whirlwind artillery piece and 1 Predator armed with the autocannon and Stormbolter. And then lastly, in the flyer slot, we have a Storm Talon gunship, has the Skyhammer missiles and the Twin Assault Cannon. All told, this battalion will net us 8 command points. It will be commanded by my son Gabriel, who is a bit camera shy. And this is his first time playing 8th edition, so we've kept it fairly simple, but it's going to be a great game nonetheless. Hopefully he'll have a good time piloting this very nice army of Space Marines. This 1,500 points of Necrons has been split into 2 detachments. The first one is a battalion detachment. It is led by the Overlord right there. He's replaced his War Scythe with the artifact, the Blood Scythe, for some extra damage dealing capability. And his Warlord trait will be Enduring Will. On the right there is a standard Cryptek. We have a squad of 10 Immortals with Tesla carbines, 2 squads of Warriors with the regular Gauss Blasters, and a Doom Scythe to provide air support. And then we have a Connected unit over here. This is an Outrider detachment. It is led by a Necron Lord there in the center. We have 2 units of 5 Scare bases. 2 spiders, they each have gloom prisms, and 1 is armed with the guns on top. And then we have a unit of 6 wraiths. Altogether, the Necrons will have 9 command points to play with as they get ready to take on the War Corgis chapter of Space Marines.
What is the location?
Today we will be playing the Retrieval mission under the basic rulebook Dawn of War Deployment. The Space Marines have completed deployment first, but we're going to start over here on the Necron side. Anchoring the right flank is the unit of 6 of the Wraiths. They have a Spider who is currently pointed straight up in the air next to the swarm of 5 Scare bases. Screening for the Immortals, you have the 3 Necron characters right in the back with the Overlord on the right, the Cryptek in the center, the Lord on the left. These Necrons are currently securing Objective 4. We have another screen of Scarabs, a Spider, another unit of 10 Necrons in the ruins, and of course the Doom Scythe. As far as objectives are concerned, there's 4 objectives this game. 2 is on the left for the Necrons, 1 on the right, and over on the War Corgis side you have Objective 3. Gabe has deployed. He has started by putting his unit of Vanguard veterans in the shadows. So after we roll to see who goes first, we will see where they come in at. But his scouts are currently located in that building back there, supported by the Predator tank. A unit of 10 Primaris Space Marines, and the captain back there as well. The artillery piece, Lena, hiding behind the barracks there. Also over there you have the Storm Talon gunship, a unit of Primaris Space Marines with the lieutenant back there as well in the back, and then 5 Primaris armed with the Hell Blasters. So that said, we are ready to see who goes first. Gabe, we're going to roll off in this building right here. You get +1 to the roll. I'm going to roll my dice first in red. I got a 4. Gabe has got a 4 + 1 is 5. Do you want to go first or second, buddy?
I'll go first.
Gabe's going first, unless I can steal the initiative on a 6. That is the exact opposite of a 6, so Gabe, good luck. Let's see where you bring on those veterans. The War Corgis probably spent days buried underneath the rubble of that crater right there, and they have just popped out ready to strike from the shadows before Gabe's first turn movement. They are right near objective 2 and threatening the Necron's left flank. That cost him 1 command point, so he is down to 7, still plenty left. Necron sitting on their 9. We'll be back after Gabe's movement next. Gabe has commanded his War Corgis to take aggressive action with the Vanguard veterans moving into the ruins to confront the unit of 10 Necron warriors in there. That should be a good time for them. While the Primaris squad that was behind the building has moved up towards objective number 2. The Predator has remained in place and the scouts have redeployed slightly inside the ruins looking for targets. Over on the left you have the artillery piece. The artillery piece, Whirlwind, has stayed in place while the Primaris squad has moved up in the woods for cover. This is in hover mode right now, moved up to get within 24 inches of the units over here, so it can use its twin assault guns against them, and the Hellblasters have also moved up to threaten. So we're coming up next, no psychics on either side, so we'll go straight into the shooting phase next. Was an impressive display of firepower from the War Corgis. Opened up with the snipers first. Despite having moved to reposition, they managed to get 3 mortal wounds on the spiders over here, or the scarabs over here, and also they failed their saves. So they killed 2 bases by themselves. And then the scout with the heavy bolter fired hellfire rounds into it, hitting but only doing 1 mortal wound. That's when the Predator autocannon opened up with help from that unit of Primaris over there, leaving all but 1 base of scarabs dead. It has 2 wounds remaining. The spider's still intact. Disappointment though is the Vanguard vets opened fire into these warriors, doing absolutely no damage to them whatsoever. Similarly, the artillery opened fire onto this unit of immortals, but did no damage there. Much better luck with the Primaris Space Marines hiding in the woods, supported by the lieutenant. They took out 2 bases of the scarabs over here and did an additional wound, total 7 wounds with the AP-1 bolters. No saves to be had. While the Hellblasters and the Storm Talon combined fire to take out the spider over here, so I won't be able to bring back any bases on the right side. Overall, a very good turn from the War Corgis, but they're not done yet because they still have the charge and fight phase to come. So the disastrous turn 1 for the Necrons continues as these Vanguard veterans slammed into the squad of warriors here, killing 9, 4 of those with the lightning claws, 5 of those with the lightning claws, 4 of those with the chain swords. In return, the lone survivor did nothing. Now, Gabe, I will probably play 2 command points so I don't have to pass a morale check. That guy's going to stick around. You have a choice right now to play 3 command points to have those guys fight a second time to guarantee the squad gets wiped out, or risk me bringing Necrons back on a 5+. You want to save those command points? You're going to use a 3? Gabe is going to press the attack over here on the Necron left flank to destroy this unit. And he's already got first blood this turn by killing the spider. And this is definitely going to hurt the Necrons when these guys get wiped out. I don't think I have much of a chance here. But we'll be back after Gabe destroys this last guy. Cruelty. As you know, completely destroying Necron squads is how you win against them. And that is what Gabe has opted to do using his 3 command points. His Vanguard veterans, of course, sliced through the lone survivor and now control these ruins without any interference. So at the end of the turn, Gabe has destroyed a 10-man unit, 4 out of 5 scare bases over there, 2 out of 5 scare bases there, and the spider unit over there, so these guys will not be regenerating. We'll see what the Necrons can do in return as a part of their counterattack. against the Space Marines of the War Corgis chapter. At the start of Necron's turn 1, the Overlord is going to give my will be done to this unit of Immortals over here. And I'm going to use 2 command points to utilize the stratagem repair subroutines for this unit of Scarabs here. So at the beginning of the turn, this will be the only reanimation protocols I need to make. I need to roll 5s or better to bring back bases. That is a 4, 3, 2, and 3. So 2 command points, no Scarabs in return. I will be able to add a base because of the spider on a roll of a 2 up. Let's see how we do there. And a 3. So we'll bring back 1 spider base and then we'll start our movement phase. Be back for the shooting phase after that. Turn 1 movement for the Necrons has ended. The Immortals, with my will be done, have moved forward 6 inches to control the center of the board, start putting some pressure on objective number 1, which is currently being swarmed over by the Wrights. They advanced, rolled a 1 originally, then used a command point to reroll it for a 2. Scarabs move forward their 10 inches to continue their screen, while the Warriors have come up in support, and of course you see the trifecta of characters right there to help out. Now it's going to be tough with the Raven Guard. Of course they are -1 to hit over 12 inches, so that's where my will be done will hopefully help out, but essentially nerf their ability there. Over on the left, these Scarabs are hiding behind the wall, getting ready to assault in those Marines, hopefully tie them up for a little bit, while the Spider is going to take advantage of the +1 armor save that he's going to get up on those ruins to dive down on those Marines. Hopefully tie them up, as I said. Over on the left, the Doom Scythe has aggressively moved forward. He has the tank in his sights along with that unit of Primaris Space Marines, or maybe the Scouts, I don't know yet. But that's a lot of shooting coming out of that unit, so it will be a worthwhile endeavor for sure. So we'll be back with the results in the Necron turn 1 shooting phase as they try to bring this game back into order. The War Corgis using the Raven Guard tactics has done well to weather the first round of shooting from the Necrons, unfortunately for my side. The Immortals opened up, managed to kill eventually do 4 wounds that weren't saved. They, of course, have a 2-up save in the woods, killing 2 of the Primaris outright, and hitting on 4s. These Warriors here managed to put a wound on another Marine back there in the woods. But that's all the shooting I have on the right side. On the left side, the Spider, with its twin particle beamer, managed to do a total of 3 wounds to the Vanguard veterans in the ruins, but Gabe made all 3 saves. The disappointment over here can't be overstated. The Doom Scythe managed to hit the Predator after it rolled for 1 shot on the D3, but failed to wound, rolling a 2. I used a command die and rolled another 2. So the Predator is unfazed at this point, and then with the Tesla Destructors managed to kill 1 Primaris over there, using 8 shots, getting 9 hits, a number of wounds, and Gabe failed 2 armor saves at the 3+. So pretty good weathering of that shooting phase. But we still have the charge and fight phase over here. And I'll be playing a stratagem over there, so we'll see how that works out for the Necrons. We need something big here to stay in the game. Necrons start their charge phase using adaptive subroutines for 2 command points, leaving them with 3 left. That enabled these Wraiths to charge the Hellblasters, which are sneaking up by that building, completely annihilating them in the combat phase. Unfortunately, cannot charge the Storm Talon like I thought, because those guys can't fly, as it turns out. So, lesson learned for me as a new Necron player. Nothing happened over here in the center. While my plan for the left flank did not go to plan, I was hoping to tie these Vanguard veterans up with the Spider and the 2 Scarab Swarms. But after the Spider killed 2 and the Scarabs killed none, the Vanguard hit back with a vengeance. Those Lightning Claws doing a lot of work, doing 3 wounds to the Spider. And then all those attacks from the other ones, their chain swords coming through. Of course, the 6-up armor save the Scarabs have, it doesn't offer much solace for them or chance to save. So These Vanguard veterans are doing really well. It's going to be very difficult now to protect the Necrons' left flank against them. I've essentially seated the left side of the board, trying to take control over here on the right. So we'll see what Gabe does in his turn 2 coming up next. Turn 2 for the War Corgis, and seeing the Necron left flank left open like this, Gabe has decided to move his scouts up to secure objective 2. It hurts them the shooting, but with all the line of sight blocking terrain, they didn't really have much to shoot at anyways. The Predator has remained put, while the Captain is leading the Primaris over towards objective number 3. He has concern about the Wraiths on his left flank. The artillery piece has remained there, while this has moved off to the right in flight mode. Lastly, aggressively moving up the Vanguard veterans, who are doing such a good job right now to threaten that Necron warrior squad. They've already chewed through 1. They're going to try and make it 2. Of course, there's 2 less of them, so we'll see how well that works out for Gabe. Going on to the shooting phase next. The War Corgis were obviously shaken by a very good turn of Necrons in the fight phase. The Predator over here managed to do 2 wounds to the Necron's Doom Scythe, but it made both of its 4-up saves against the Predator autocannon. And with these scouts advancing and that unit advancing, they weren't able to shoot. And then came in Gabe's Storm Talon. It did pretty well. It did take 2 wounds off of it with the twin assault cannons, but the Skyhammer missile, despite hitting twice, failed to wound both times. Gabe used his last command point to try to get that 3 up in order to wound it with the D3 damage that the Skyhammer does, but failed. So it is currently 2 wounds down, and since it started with a total of 12, it's at 10. The artillery shot into the Wraiths, only managing to do 2 wounds. The Wraiths made both the 5-up invul saves, but the Primaris in the woods did open up with their improved bolters and managed to do 3 wounds, which went unsaved. So killed 1 base, and now 1 base has 2 wounds remaining. While over here, the phenomenal Vanguard veterans managed to shoot with their bolt pistols, do 3 wounds. I made 2 saves, and they took out 1 Necron warrior. So it's really up to the Vanguard to save the Space Marines' turn here. I don't know yet if Gabe is going to charge with his Primaris Space Marines over on the left or not, but we will find out as we go on to the charge and fight phase for the War Corgis next. The Vanguard veterans successfully charged into the Necron warriors. They did lose 2 on Overwatch to the Necrons' Xenos weaponry, but didn't lose anybody in the actual assault, while they killed an additional 5 Necrons in close combat. Once again, those lightning claws doing a lot of work for them. So right now the Necrons have lost a total of 6 this turn, which is going to force a morale check for them. But Gabe was not able to wipe out the unit, and with no command points left, couldn't press the attack, thankfully. So right now the Necrons will roll morale, having lost 6 plus 2 is an 8. They're going to be just fine, and we'll hopefully reanimate some of those guys, as my Crypt Tech is right there in support. So maybe finally the Vanguard have bitten off more than they can chew, but this is a very interesting game. So let's see what the Necrons can do during their turn 2. The Necron Overlord has given his will be done onto the Immortals again in order to help out their shooting, while the Crypt Tech assisted in resurrecting 2 of the 6 fallen Necrons over there. So that unit strength is now back up to 6, which is even with the War Corgis Vanguard veterans. So this becomes a war of attrition. I like my chances on the Necron side. Alright, we'll be back after Necron turn 2 movement next. The Doom Scythe has slid over to the right to engage the Whirlwind, along with some Marines over there, while the Necron's Kinetic Wraiths are sneaking behind the Primaris Marines in the woods, who are looking at the Scarab Swarms that are right up against them with their 10-inch move. These Necrons have moved forward their 6 inches with They will be done along with the Necron Lord, while the Overlord has dropped back here to assist the Necron warriors in defeating these vanguards. The Cryptek remains there as well. He's not going to get involved in the fight. He's too important for our cause. So a quick round of movement for the Necrons. We'll be back after their shooting phase. Fairly good round of shooting for the Necrons, as these Immortals that will be done on them managed to take 4 wounds off of the Storm Raven with their Tesla carbines. Poor rolling by Gabe for his armor saves, of course. And then the star of the show was the Doom Scythe against the Whirlwind. Poured everything into it. Did a total of 3 wounds with the Tesla Destructors, and then an additional 4 wounds with the Death Ray. The Death Ray, interestingly, hit all 3 times, 3 6s, but unfortunately only wounded once. Of course, burned right through their armor there. But the War Corgis are not out of the woods yet. Matter of fact, they're squarely in the woods, getting ready to be charged by some Wraiths and some Scarabs. And of course, this fight continues, about to be joined by Necron Overlord. So we'll be back after the charge and fight phase. The Necron Overlord boldly waded into combat between the warriors and the Vanguard veterans, and using his Blood Scythe managed to destroy 3 of the Vanguard Marines single-handedly. The Vanguard, with their Lightning Claws, managing to only kill 1 Necron. They only did 2 wounds. I made 1 save. In return, Gabe was focused on trying to destroy the squad. He could have done it with better dice rolls. Unfortunately, they just weren't there for him, missing a lot on those. So the exchange was 4 Vanguard veterans to 1 regular Necron warrior. Advantage Necrons. Over here on the right, the Primaris are in trouble. They did kill 1 Scarab Swarm on Overwatch as I charged them in first, and then 1 in close combat with those 3 Marines up forward. Didn't manage to do any damage to the Wraiths, with the Wraiths managed to kill 3 Primaris. We have tied up the Whirlwind, but did not manage to do any damage to it. Wraith Claws are not great against vehicles, as you know, at Strength 6, but they are very good against Primaris, so they've killed in there 3. Gabe still has plenty of combat power over here on the left. It's going to be kind of a scramble for objectives to see if he can get any support up for these poor Vanguard veterans, what he wants to do there. And then also, what is he going to do with those Wraiths? That is the big question Gabe is going to have to answer as we move forward to War Corgis turn 3 next. Gabe has started his movement phase with the War Corgis by jumping the 2 Vanguard veterans out of combat down here in order to make way for his snipers to attack. While over here he has moved the squad of Primaris Marines and the Lieutenant out of combat along with the Whirlwind from those Wraiths. The squad of Primaris, led by the Captain, has moved up ever so slightly towards the Wraiths in order to engage them, while this has entered into hover mode and has plenty of targets to look at. And we'll see what Gabe's target priority is as we go to the War Corgis turn 3 shooting. In the shooting phase, the War Corgi snipers did their job with the help of the 2 pistols out of the veteran squad, killing the 5 Necron warriors that were here, so no chance to reanimate. Unfortunately, not so good with the Storm Talon as it placed its Skyfire missiles into the Doom Scythe, hit twice, but failed to wound again with the Skyfires, named 3s. While the twin assault cannons opened up into the Wraiths, doing 2 damage. The Primaris squad also opened fire at the Wraiths, but they were not able to stick any wounds on them, unfortunately. Of course, this Primaris squad and the Lieutenant could not shoot because they had jumped out of combat and don't have the fly keyword. So the last thing was the Predator with the autocannon did manage to take out a Wraith as well. That was the first thing that killed a Wraith. So 1 Wraith dead, 1 down to a wound, and a squad wiped out over here. Gabe says, no need to charge right now. He feels pretty okay with the situation. So we go to Necrons, turn 3. No reanimation protocols required. We'll just drive straight on to the shooting phase. See if we can destroy some Marines. The Necrons are quickly running out of combat units, so what they have decided to do is they have consolidated down here towards objective number 4, wary of those veterans over there jumping in to steal their objective. We're pretty much giving up on 2 to the Space Marine Scouts. And this will allow us to open fire on the Primaris Marines coming towards us. They're going to be supported by the Doom Scythe. Unfortunately, the Overlord was too far away to give my will be done to anybody. We did move the Scarab Swarm back here towards objective number 1, and the Wraiths have moved up and taken objective number 3. So it was pretty quick movement, and we'll go straight in the shooting phase next. Subpar shooting phase for the Necrons is these guys open up doing 3 wounds to the Primaris, supported with the Doom Scythe. The Death Ray managed to just get 1 shot. It did hit on the 4-up, being a heavy weapon, but then failed to kill him with a 2-up to wound. He rolled a 1. So, not an impressive shooting phase. Was only managed to kill a Primaris and a half. We're going to have to leave it up to the Wraiths now to charge in that squad. Of course, the captain's over there. This could be interesting. So, stick with us as we go to the charge and fight phase for the Necrons. The combat over here was less than deadly. The Wraiths made their charge with an 11 on the charge roll, which allowed them to get behind a little bit on those Marines. In Overwatch, the Marines didn't manage to do any wounds. That stuck to the Wraiths. But then in the fight phase, Gabe made 5 out of 6 5-up saves against the Wraiths, losing only 1 Primaris. Nothing against the captain. He made his armor save as well. In return, the captain did nothing but tickle the Wraiths, doing no damage. But the Primaris came through doing 4 wounds. I failed 1 of the invul saves, and 1 Wraith died because it was sitting on 1 wound. So with the 3 there remaining, I don't know if it's going to be enough to tie up the Primaris and the captain, or what decision Gabe's going to make. It really has opened up the field for him. From this point on, we'll just go ahead and recap the entire turn for the rest of the report. Hope you're enjoying it. Turn 4 has seen the War Corgis take decisive control of the battlefield. Started out with the scouts over here advancing, taking control of Objective 2, and they were aided by 2 members of the 1st Company Vanguard Vets, who bravely withdrew back to Objective number 2, while the Predators stayed there. Those guys remained locked in combat while these Primaris moved forward. These Primaris, the 4 in front, opened fire on the Scarab base that was there, completely wiping it out with those fantastic bolters that they have, while the Lieutenant managed to take out 1 Necron Immortal. One of the big stars of the show for this round was the Storm Talon, opening up with the twin assault cannons, killing 3 Necron warriors, and the Skyhammer missile banging into the Doom Scythe that was there. It was very effective, doing 3 wounds. And then the Predator autocannon also managed to do 3 wounds. I didn't save any of them, so that was more than enough to destroy the Doom Scythe. Artillery also opened up fire on the Immortals, but did no damage. Over here in close combat, the captain managed to do a 1 wound to a Necron warrior, and then 2 wounds were done by the Primaris Space Marines to throw 1 down. In return, the Necrons took out 2 Primaris Space Marines. So a better trade this time, but we're going to have to hope that these last 2 command points will bring back some Necron Wraiths. Otherwise, we will be hurting. But on to Necron turn 4 next. At the start of Necron turn 4, we have brought back 2 Immortals with the help of the crit tech. Now we spent 2 command points in order to have the Scarabs try reanimation protocols. This is going to be critical here. On a 5-up, we need to see some Wraiths come back. Well, there's 1. So we're back to 3 Wraiths over here. Hopefully that will give the Necrons a fighting chance here in turn 4. The Necrons are determined to make a game of it. With the Immortals were given my will be done by the Overlord before moving forward. They're 6 inches, supported by the Necron Lord and Cryptek. They opened fire, killing the 4 Primaris Marines, leaving the Lieutenant stranded there in the open by himself. That was really the only shooting, as the Necron Overlord cowers behind this crate with all these Marines coming up to face him. The Wraiths, with the newly respawned Wraith, did very well in killing 3 Primaris Marines. Gabe made 2 out of 5 saves, so it kept him in the fight, while the combined efforts of the Captain and the 3 remaining Primaris did take down a Wraith as well. So, it is a tight battle over there. I think the War Corgis are in control, but I'm not ready to concede yet, Gabe. We shall fight on to turn 5. During the Corgis' turn 5, the Lieutenant has moved up to secure Objective 1. He no longer has a squad to lead, while the Storm Talon has moved in support. The Storm Talon and him opened fire. It was a Storm Talon that did all the work, killing 5 of the Necron Immortals. The artillery, which is on its last leg, was unable to land any hits. Scouts have moved up into the building because it's thematic and it's cool. And also the veterans have this Objective 2 on lockdown along with the Predator tank. The combat over here rages on with the Captain managing to do 1 wound to the Wraiths, and in return the Wraiths killed 2 Primaris. So now the Necrons have to make some magic happen in their turn 5. Remember, Gabe got first blood, so he is up 1-0. I have no way. Well, I do have Linebreaker going on right now. Gabe's close to it as well, so we'll see what we can do in turn 5. So in turn 5, the Necrons came back with a vengeance, with 6 of 7 down Necrons making reanimation protocols. They used all that firepower and bodies to move up. They are, of course, objective secured, so they have taken Objective 1. They put the firepower into the Storm Talon, taking an additional 3 wounds off of it. It is now down to 3 wounds and smoking out the engines. The Necron Overlord has bravely moved back here to secure Objective 4, so that gives me control of 2 objectives. I say bravely because those Space Marine scouts would like nothing better to do than put 9 rounds into a Necron Overlord. Objective 2 remains in Gabe's firm control with the Predator there and the 2 Vanguard veterans who did so well. And then back here the fight continued with my Wraiths killing the Primaris Sergeant and doing 2 wounds to the Captain. The Captain did 1 wound in return. But Gabe still controls Objective 3 by virtue of Lena being there. So even though we were tied on objectives, Gabe did have first blood. But I do have Linebreaker. And this was the roll at the end of turn 5 to see if the game continued. It did not. So Gabe, you have 7 points. I have 7 points. It's a tie. My first game with the Necrons. I feel pretty good about that. And I will say the Primaris Space Marines, pretty resilient. It wasn't for the Wraiths running through them. You'd still see a lot more of them. So, very good game, son. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you for playing. And bring the War Corgis on the channel. So, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any feedback for us, leave a comment below. I answer nearly every one. This has been another War Corgi YouTube production. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back soon. Bye-bye.